Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Champions video. This is part 2 of my video showcasing the cards that were revealed today from the Mad Titan Shadow campaign expansion. The first video focused on the heroes, which are Adam, Warlock, and Spectrum. There'll be a link in the description to where you can check that video out. This video is going to be focusing on the villains. So we have Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, Corbus Glaive, and Thanos. So first up here, we're going to start off with Ebony Maw, or Squidward as Iron Man likes to call him. This is only his stage 1, so we haven't seen what his stage 2 card is like yet. But comes in with 14 hit points per player. He's Black Order and the Mystic. 2 scheme, 1 attack, with a Force Interrupt for either of those. So when he activates against you, remove an invocation counter from each spell card in your play area. We'll get to the invocation counters and spells in just a moment. So that is Ebony Maw stage 1. We're going to go ahead and look at his main scheme here. So main scheme is attack on nowhere, comes in with 1 threat per player, and generates 1 threat per player during the villain round. It triggers at 6 threat per player. It's the main scheme. When it's revealed, each player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a spell environment is discarded and puts it into play in their play area. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. So basically each player is going to be getting a spell environment dealt to them, and then all the other cards are going to get shuffled back in. So 1-player game, you're basically just going to discard cards until you get the spell environment. You get that in play. You shuffle the other cards back into the deck. The other, if in a multiplayer game, each player is going to do that process until they get a spell environment, and then everything gets shuffled back in. So again, that is attack on nowhere. That is his main scheme. Let's go ahead and move into our next card. So first up is the Fireball spell environment. It's spell. It has Surge. So it enters play with 4 invocation counters on it. And as a force response, after the last invocation counter is removed from Fireball, discard it, deal 4 damage to your identity. So this also, if you, not all of these spell environments are going to be in play. Like in a 1-player game, you may not, you're going to be getting dealt 1. So this can still pop up as like a boost card or an encounter card. So if it's a boost card, it's going to come in with, it's going to boost the attack or scheme by 2. It also has Surge, so basically it's going to come in, comes in with Surge. I think then it comes into play with 4 counters on it still, even if it comes in as a boost, or as an encounter card, I should say. And then as a force response, after the last invocation counter is removed, the spell goes off, gets discarded, and does 4 damage. So that is Fireball. Let's go ahead and move into our next card. Next up we have is Pacification. Pacification, yeah, sorry about that. So it's a spell, has Surge, generates 2 boost if it's used as a boost card. If it comes in as a encounter card, it has Surge. Enters play with 3 invocation counters on it as a force response. After the last invocation counter is removed from Pacification, discard it, exhaust each upgrade you control. You are also stunned. So Fireball does 4 damage. This basically exhausts everything and stuns you. So that is that spell. We're going to move into our next card. All right, next up we have the Abjuration. It's an attachment. It attaches to Ebony Maw. Prevent all damage to Ebony Maw, and it's a force response. After it prevents 2 or more damage from a single attack, discard it. And then if it gets used as a boost card, it comes in with, generates 3 boost. So that is Abjuration. We're going to move into our next card. And next up we have Restrained. It's an attachment. Let's see. Attach to the friendly character with the highest attack and exhaust it. The attached character cannot ready, and as a hero action, spend an energy and physical resource to discard this card. So whoever has the highest attack character, which could also be an ally, like let's say if it could be, it may not necessarily even be a hero character. It could be one of the allies. It gets attached to that character, and that character gets exhausted, and then they can't ready, and then basically means they won't be able to attack, depending on if it's an ally. They're basically like tapped, they can't be used. But then you could also just spend a energy and physical resource to discard the card. So that is Restrained. That's the last card in the Ebony Maw deck. We're now going to move over into the Proxima Midnight and Corbus Glaive decks, and we'll be right back with that. Alright, we are now back with Proxima Midnight and Corbus Glaive. Corbus Glaive and Proxima Midnight are very interesting in the context of this particular campaign, as they actually share a villain deck and actually work together. I think they also have their own schemes, but basically they kind of show up and are working together. And we'll be talking about them in just a second. But let's flip over here. So here's Proxima Midnight. This is only stage 1. I don't know if there's going to be a stage 2 with them or not, depending, because you're fighting both of them at the same time, essentially. So comes in with 9 hit points per player, 1 scheme, 2 attack. She's Black Order. So Force Interrupt. When Proxima Midnight attacks you, choose to either deal 1 damage to Avengers Tower, or Proxima Midnight gets +2 attack for this attack. Proxima Midnight cannot be defeated while Corbus Glaive has any hit points remaining. So there is this Avengers Tower thing, which is like, I think it's an environment, and basically they're putting damage onto the Avengers Tower, and then once there's enough damage on it, the card flips over and then does something. I don't think it's been revealed what the flip side of that card is yet, though. So, but Corbus Glaive and Proxima Midnight are working together, seemingly to attack Avengers Tower. So that is Proxima Midnight. We're going to go over and look at Corbus Glaive now. So here's Corbus Glaive, stage 1. Again, don't know if there's going to be more than one stage with them. I imagine there probably will be, but he comes in with 8 hit points per player, 2 scheme, 1 attack, Black Order as well, and Force Response. After Corbus Glaive makes an undefended attack, discard the top card of the encounter deck, deal 1 damage to the Avengers Tower for each boost icon on the card. And just like Proxima Midnight, Corbus Glaive cannot be defeated while Proxima Midnight has any hit points remaining. So you're going to have to basically kind of gauge about like who should be getting attacked and what have you, because one of them, if one of the other ones has hit points remaining, the other one cannot be defeated. So that is very interesting. So those are the 2 villain cards for Proxima Midnight and Corbus Glaive. Here's Avengers Tower. So Avengers Tower is a stronghold. The unique rule does not apply to Avengers Tower. So it means this can be in play while you have the Avengers Tower card from a hero deck in play at the same time. So basically, unique rule does not apply to it. And it's a force response. After damage is placed here, if there is at least 9 damage per player here, remove all of it, flip Avengers Tower over. So I imagine something happens once you flip Avengers Tower over that probably isn't good. So that is Avengers Tower. It's going to be interesting to see what the actual flip side of that card is. So next up we have Focus Defense. This is a permanent. So the villain who matches the attached scheme is the active villain. Force Response. After the player phase ends, attach this card to the other main scheme. So basically, this will go between the schemes for Proxima Midnight and Corbus Glaive. Depending on what card this is on, that particular villain will be the one that's active that turn. So they'll basically be kind of like jumping in and switching it up. Corbus Glaive will have a turn, then Proxima Midnight will have a turn, and so on. So that is Focus Defense. We're going to move it to our next card. Our next card, this is from the back of the box. The box art was revealed as well, and this is Rain Fire. I can't tell. It looks like it's a Treachery. Let's see. When revealed, deal 2 damage to Avengers Tower. So pretty simple. Basically, it pops up, and 2 damage is dealt to the tower. And that is it for at least with the cards that have been revealed so far for Proxima Midnight and Corbus Glaive. We're now going to move over into Thanos' deck. We'll be right back with that. Alright, and we are now back with the Thanos deck. So this is stage 1 of Thanos. Comes in with 16 hit points per player. 1 scheme to attack. He's Black Order and a Titan. Has Stalwart, so this character cannot be stunned or confused. And as a force response, after the Infinity Stone deck runs out, give Thanos 1 face-down boost card. So there's going to be a deck of Infinity Stones, and once that deck runs out, he gets a boost card. So that is Thanos, at least his stage 1. Let's go ahead and move into our next card. Next card here we have Balance of the Scales. This is the main scheme, Balance of Scales. I don't know exactly how many points threat points are going to be needed because this is the setup side. But when revealed, each player shuffles their discard pile into their deck. Each player removes the top half of their deck, rounded down from the game. So basically, the top half of your deck gets dusted, which is just super thematic and super cool. It's cool in like what it does. It's not cool in the fact that you lose half your deck. But that is Balance the Scales. We're going to move into our next card. Next up here we have the Infinity Stones scheme. We also have the Master of the Stones attachment. There's also the Thanos we just looked at. But Master of the Stones looks like it adds a +1 scheme, +1 attack. Let's see here. The Infinity Stones main scheme. This looks like it's actually the other side of... No, that was stage 2. This is stage 1. So comes in with no threat, generates 1 threat per player per villain phase, and it triggers at 12. Or 12 threat per player is when this scheme goes off. So when it's revealed, put the top card of the Infinity Stone deck into play, search the encounter deck for the Sanctuary side scheme, and reveal it. Shuffle the encounter deck. So no idea what the that side scheme does, but we have Master of the Stones. Let's imagine that's going to be something to obviously dealing with the Infinity Stones. If he has all of them, he gets to do something cool, or cool for him, bad for the players. And then the Infinity Stones main scheme. Let's go ahead and move into our next card. Next up, we have a card fan here. This shows off some of the stones. Some of the stones are actually shown in the Mind Stone and Space Stone. We're going to skip those because those actually were fully revealed. But looks like the Power Stone. I guess you get stunned, and if you're already stunned, it does something else. I can't really tell what else. There is the Time Stone. So discard the top 4 cards of your deck, and something about threat. I can't really tell. The Soul Stone's a little too covered to see. And there's the Infinity Gauntlet. We're going to talk about the Infinity Gauntlet in just a moment, so I'm going to skip that one as well. But here's the Reality Stone. It looks like it's discard an ally, upgrade, or support. I imagine it probably says support you control. Place that card in the place this card in the Infinity Stone discard pile. So basically, it comes out. Let's say you have an ally out. Or Reality Stone comes out, and you say like, "Cool, guess what? You never actually that guy was never actually there because Thanos was changing how you perceive the reality. So that card is now gone." Which is super cool, or super thematic. It's going to be really interesting. So those are the stones and the Infinity Gauntlet. Go ahead and move into the next card here. So next card here is the Infinity Gauntlet. So it's an attachment, gets +1 scheme, +1 attack to the villain. It's permanent setup, and is a force response. After the attached villain activates, resolve the special ability of each Infinity Stone in play. Otherwise, put the top card of the Infinity Stone deck into play. So I imagine it doesn't specify that it has to be on Thanos. So I imagine you can actually run this as a modular set with any villain. So like if you want to have Ultron with the Infinity Gauntlet, you can probably totally do it. Or any of the other villains, because it just says after the attached villain activates. It's obviously going to probably be more thematic on Thanos, but it could still be interesting to have this on other villains. So that is the Infinity Gauntlet. We're going to go ahead and move to the next card. Next up, we have the Mind Stone. It's an environment card. So Infinity Stone, special. You are confused. If you were already confused, discard 1 card at random from your hand. Place this card in the Infinity Stone discard pile. And then it comes in with 2 boosts as well. So that's the Mind Stone. Next up, we have the Space Stone. It's an environment as well. It's an Infinity Stone. Special, discard cards on the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Put the minion into play, engage with you, place this card in the Infinity Stone discard pile. So kind of thematically, it's Thanos is pulling one of his minions from across the galaxy and bringing that minion to deal with you. So there's that. That is the Space Stone. Next card here. This is just a card fan, so some of the stuff that we've already seen. But looks like there is Martinex. Looks like it's a Guardian. Something about Guardian trait comes in with 4 hit points. I can't really tell exactly what that does. But that is it for the cards that have been revealed today for the Mad Titan Shadow campaign expansion. Really looking forward to it. We kind of knew Thanos was coming, and it was going to be, hopefully it's going to be epic. I imagine it's going to be a big challenge, especially like dealing with the Infinity Stones and the Black Order and all that. The new characters or new heroes, the Spectrum and Adam Warlock, also look really interesting. And I believe, if I can find it, there was another card fan that revealed, it was in a foreign language, I might not even show it, but foreign language card showing 2 new villains, which I don't think they're part of this campaign. I think they're just upcoming, maybe on their own, maybe in a new villain deck. But in new villain deck, it could be the same deck. It could be it's Hela and Loki. So Hela and Loki are getting their own villain decks at some point. The cards were in a foreign language, so we'll have to wait until translations come out for those. But I think we all kind of knew that Loki was going to get a deck as well, just because up to this point he was just a kind of a minion in Thor's deck. We kind of knew he was going to get a deck. Hela, I think some of us have speculated that Hela might be coming into the game as well. So I imagine it could be maybe I don't think it's going to be another campaign. It might be another, just maybe Hela and Loki each get their own villain deck, like we got with Green Goblin. Green Goblin had 2 scenarios. So maybe we get 2 scenarios in that deck, and it's a combination deck with both Hela and Loki. we'll have to wait and see on that. But that's going to do for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll be back again with more Marvel Champions videos as more cards get revealed. Again, I want to thank you for watching, and take care. Have a good one.